It's never been more competitive. We said that in KC. How are we taking a step up now? I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. This game, the meta's changing. Everyone's putting that practice in. And again, it's all for Worlds. I mean, that's the biggest tournament of the season. Everyone plays every tournament for that one. And they're coming out when they need to. And Team War, they're a bunch of rejects. They're players that people didn't want. And they just formed a team at the last minute, and look at them now, beating on Ascend.
I'm blown away. I'm even more shocked that it's Ascend that is the squad that is struggling here. You know, this is the European champions. These guys are nasty. They're so good. And for them to be in that kind of a position just goes to show you, Orlando, anything is possible. FaZe nearly beat Optic Gaming yesterday. You saw G1 take out Native Red. Native Red finding themselves in this position. Oxygen qualifying for Worlds. War might beat us, and anything can happen. Let's go ahead, though, and jump into this. As Catalyst CTF is going to be our first map in this best-of-5 series between two extremely hungry squads looking for that Worlds Championship spot.
Here we go, game number 1. This is all the marbles right here. Elimination, round number 3. The winner of this series will qualify for Worlds. We got to see the best gameplay out of both these squads.
Man, and I'm telling you, hearing that war chant in the background, I feel like I'm at a WWE event. It's freaking awesome. I'm thinking like the Viking War Raiders are maybe out there looking to fight. But of course, a big congratulations to War as they have won 3-1. But let's go ahead and focus on the matchup at hand as we have Suppress on your screen here. A strong start right out of the gate here as Native Red are looking to try and just see if they can get back into this here. Arctic with the frag on, I believe that was going to be Druck. 2 down currently for Native Red here. Is Talix now just trying to scout this out for, you know, where this potential player is going to be. And of course, not to confuse you guys, Native Red is playing on the blue team and Fnatic is on the red team. So, you know, because I'm a little dyslexic at times, so you do have a tendency to flip those two together. Just want to let everyone know at home in case you got confused.
That's all right, I get confused as well, but someone who's not confused is Manny. Starting this game off 2-0. We were on his screen just there, the aggressive play out of him. Again, that initial pick is going to be huge. They get the trade, which is what's necessary here, but they've got to capitalize on the skewer.
Yeah, fortunately for them, or fortunately for Druck, that skewer is not going to be able to connect. Druck, they're kind of in a real bad position here. Now you're going to leave this base, blue base, wide open to Fnatic, who have now gained possession of the flag. Now you are going to have 2 players on the cutoff. You got Talik and Soul Snipe. Those are going to be players to watch here, and whether or not they can break this here, right? Or maybe if Soul Snipe is going to bring this flag, or excuse me, not bring the flag, but try and see if he can stop the flag underneath. But instead, it's going to be Suppress who's bringing this one right across. No stopping him whatsoever. And Fnatic are going to put the first one on the board.
That's a great first one on the board, though, because it's 1 cap on a map like Catalyst. You're able to get that first cap. It's going to drive your momentum forward. Very difficult, but look, the counter comes out. The counter comes out from Native Red.
Yeah, this is huge because there's going to be no one in the vicinity to stop Manny. You got to watch across, though. Jazero just got the kill on Talik. That's a great slide across. Look for the 3 members of Fnatic who might try and stop this. Talik has a lot of work ahead of him, but it seems like we did have a disconnect, unfortunately, which means that we will have to reset this one. You know, that's just the way the cookie crumbles, but we'll see. I believe it might be a 1-0 here. But regardless of the fact, I think it has been awesome to see how Fnatic, they take those advantages and they run with them.
Yeah, I mean, that advantage was huge right at the beginning there. They got that very first pick. They were able to capitalize on it. And someone I'm really impressed with is the man on our screen, Suppressed. He's the damage dealer of the squad. He's going to make everything so much easier for this Fnatic roster. And he does it with just putting damage in from an anchor position.
Yeah, so we did have that disconnect. We will be getting the player back in the game, and we will be restarting things. They could do a lot of damage, and that's part of the reason why, you know, the numbers have been so favorable toward Druck, and why he feels so activated on this Native roster.
Honestly, I talked to the coach again of Fnatic. We talked about this earlier, but one of the things he said, and someone who I want to really focus on here, is Arctic.
Yep.
He says Arctic reminds him of himself in his youthful years. Now, tell me something right now. You talk about Neighbor from such a long time ago. If Neighbor, a legend, in Halo is saying that Arctic reminds him of himself in the youthful years, we've got a scary player on our hands. So I definitely want to check out Arctic. I want to watch him and stay on board with him for a while here to see what he's capable of doing.
Yeah, and he's actually going to have a few teammates on the prowl here. So I like that you wanted to call out Arctic on this one, because he's going to be one of the support players in this particular situation with the way that he's playing back. Now he's going to go in for the initiation. Clean kill there against Manny. Also, Soul Snipe's going to be in a real bad position, and Jazero with the pickup. That was exactly what we were talking about. Put in a few shots and then go do the job elsewhere, because there's work to be done on other sides of the map.
Exactly, and they trust their teammates as well. This is going to be a little bit of a standoff, though. Native Red pull their own flag. That skewer is still up. No one being able to contest that. So, again, Jazero is in a position with his teammate here on car side to potentially move this flag a little further, and he's going to do just that.
Yeah, well, look out for Talik, though. Talik's going to be waiting for some support, so he's going to try and play the long game here. Soul Snipe, and a big win for Soul Snipe, but 2 kills just like that as both Talik and Soul Snipe go down, and that should be the flag cap in here potentially for Fnatic, but it doesn't seem like they were able to make that one happen just yet, which is actually quite shocking. There should be a player in the base to punch it in, but with both flags being away from base now, this is going to be quite problematic here, and we could end up in a little bit of a stalemate.
Yeah, the stalemates are happening a lot more often, Golden Boy, and I'm seeing them time and time again, especially in this tournament. There's a standoff, you got to get the slays, but it's all about timing at this point. You see the trades happening. That's exactly what needs to happen, but Septify, that's a big kill out of him. He's got the skewer. Potentially they can capitalize on the return.
Oh, and I thought he was going to be able to nail that shot, but a big kill there from Talik now. As we jump over to his POV, he's going to get wiped away, but that is going to be Native Red tying things up, by the way, 1-1, because Fnatic were the ones to get that flag cap in first. Smart use there of the grapple shot, activate the overshield, get the grapple shot back. Let's see what Arctic could do with this here, and this could potentially be a pull here for Fnatic.
Arctic made a good play there, and he gets the kill as well. He's going to lose overshield, but again, using that grapple to get that overshield in the middle of the map, a very, very hard situation if you just jump for it. He uses the correct play, and now he's able to rotate the flag.
Yeah, but watch out for Soul Snipe, who's over in the distance, and he's going to make a flag pull of his own, so that is going to throw a thorn, a wrench, if you will, into the plan for Fnatic. Arctic's going to have to go and support. I believe he has a teammate in the back that maybe can pick up that flag if need be. Doesn't seem to be the case, but no, he's not going to win out that fight. That's going to give a huge opening here to Native Red to return this flag and start to march this one forward if they could get possession in the base yet again.
Looks like a double return comes out, so Native Red still with the advantage, 1-0 here. The game is going to start to slow at this point. It's all going to be about that very first initial kill. And it's going to come down to Talik. He's playing very aggressive here, but he's got his teammates around him.
Yeah, he's made the call out, and that's the reason why Arctic, you know, he knew that he didn't really need to push that. He just needed to press his advantage where he could, and that's exactly what he ends up doing. Talik's going to be moving this flag across, but don't worry, because there's going to be another flag from Jazero that's going to be running cross map as well, as Fnatic have done this again, and we're back in the same position we were before active, where it's just going to be another old-fashioned stalemate. But this time, though, you have 4 members of Fnatic that are going to be positioned quite aggressively, maybe to try and push in and return that flag, because they're in a really good spot.
Yeah, Golden Boy, you talked about it before the game. They're stacking up teammates, right? They're in a position where, you know, you don't want to go alone because it could potentially, you know, find a corner where you get back smacked. So instead, they stack up. They're able to push advantage off of that. And that's exactly what Fnatic are doing.
Big kill there by Jazero to keep the drive alive here for the flag. Not really much else that he could do, and the flag has got return, and that is going to be a capture. So if you're keeping score at home, that's going to be 2-1 as Fnatic have the advantage from that reset. So a big lead here for Fnatic in the early game.
Jazero staying alive here would be ginormous, but he's not able to, so that's going to be 2 dead. And now Native Red going to take advantage of this. It's up to Arctic to get the trade, but he's not able to. Once again, 2 dead, and this should be a clean flag cap for Native Red.
Yeah, really well executed there. Druck's got this flag across. There might be one member there of Fnatic to try and stop this, and it is. It's Suppressed, hiding in one of those nooks, but he's not going to be able to do it in time, and Native Red are going to tie up the game 2-2. Talik with a massive double kill to secure the base, and they can start to push this one forward if they want.
And I've got to look right now at the scoreboard. You got Talik and Soul Snipe, both with double-digit kills, but I mean, right now they're only tied in this game, so they're out slaying Fnatic, but they're not able to capitalize.
But look at this, though. Damage was done. Those 3 players were hurt. No one was there to really capitalize on that, and that is something that I would like to see. If you're going to push that mid door, push it with purpose. Have teammates there ready to capitalize on the damage that you put forward, so that this way you can get 1, maybe 2 down and start to march forward to make that flagpole happen.
Well said. Well said. Damage is important, but capitalizing on it is more important. It's a big 1v1 for Talik and a triple kill. My word. That overshield is coming up as well.
Massive triple kill. You also have the flag moving across the map as well, as Manny's got that covered. Look at Septify and Arctic trying to get into the forward position, but they won't be able to, as Manny's got the flag. That's going to get punched in here, and you got a 3-1 scoreline. Native Red go up by 1. Remember, Fnatic, they have that one from the reset. They have 2 flags, but regardless, Native Red has the lead.
These next couple kills are vital here. The OS is up. This is a fight for the OS and a potential fight for something that's going to give you the advantage in that flagpole. So Talik stays alive. We talked about that. But wait, he gets the kill anyway. Suppressed, going clutch.
Yeah, that's a massive win there for Suppressed. Septify on the move here. To jump over to his POV. He's going to be in a bit of a pickle having to fight against Druck. Play your life in this situation, but he didn't quite know where he was, and the flag is going to start moving, but that is just going to pull so much attention, right? And that flagpole happening is huge here for Fnatic, but just as I say that, we're going to have a trade across, as Druck is going to be marching the flag for Native Red, so we're right back where we were, and I think that this has been a thing that Fnatic have to try and stop. This has happened so many times on a Fnatic flagpole, and then Native Red gather the flag and start moving that across. They have to find a way to stop that.
And that's definitely because Native Red has that aggression, right? And they're able to get to their side of the base, but scot-free. Like you said, Fnatic have to put a player on that side of the map so those things don't happen, and at least they can get a trade or something to stop that flagpole.
Yeah, it's been a thorn on their side without a doubt. Druck, well played here, just continuing to march around these players. Soul Snipe had the help as well. So Jazero and Arctic go down. Suppressed with a big stop. Soul Snipe gets the flag return here. And we're going to be right back where we started. Big win there for Soul Snipe, but it's not going to amount to all that much here, as Manny's going to have support from Talik up on high, but he does. He gets away with the skewer, and then this could actually work out for him if he does manage to get line of sight here on Arctic potentially. Line it up, doesn't hit it.
But that's what's so good about LAN, right? Arctic was able to utilize that peak shot. Online, you can't really do that too much, but Arctic being smart enough to know that on LAN, you can utilize that peak shot and get that damage, but he peaked too much right there. Manny takes him out.
Yeah, he gets the kill, but he won't be able to reload that massive weapon in time, so they'll have to worry about hitting the BRs on the cross here. Jazero takes some damage, but this actually looks like it could be a flag capture for Fnatic, potentially, as 2 members of Fnatic are going to be positioned up on high, and no, it's going to get stopped, but finally get punched in. 3-3 score. Fnatic tie things up.
Look at all the resources that Fnatic use, though. They go 3 down, which means that counter cap is going to come out right now. Talik has to stop it, but that OS is going to play a huge factor as well. It looks like Native Red, the counter cap will be successful.
Yeah, there's going to be one opportunity here potentially, and that's actually going to come in the form of Jazero. Druck gets the kill. Look for Suppresto. Druck's going to be dangerously low, so he needs to stay alive here, but he won't be able to do all that much. It's all right, though. Talik gets the flag. He punches that in. Suppressed was in a real bad position, and now we're at 4-2. And now, you know what, Active? I think we might actually get a full completed game of Catalyst CTF.
I think you're right, and I think it has a lot to do with the 2 players on the top of Native Red. 19-6 out of Talik. Soul Snipe going 17-12, having massive games. And that aggression and that confidence and their individual pivotal fights are what's really giving them the edge in this fight.
You know, honestly, I've casted Native Red once before. I've been watching their games. Talik and Soul Sniper just having a tournament. They're playing unreal Halo, and that is what is going to push you over that finish line here. Granted, you love to see, you know, Druck and Manny putting up more numbers, but you don't really need to, because they are doing the job that Talik and Soul Snipe are setting them up for. And if anything, they're setting up Talik and Soul Snipe by being those lurkers, by being the ones that are just kind of like in the back of the base, right? Trenches, like maybe putting in a shot here and there, just trying to pull that attention away, and then they let those Slayers come in and destroy. 40 kills between Taulik and Soul Snipe together in this one.
It's very well said. You talk about the roles of team, and honestly, a lot of people focus on KD a little bit too much, but you don't see the kills that happen outside the score sheet. Druck making sure to get that initial kill. He goes down, but he's opening up the map for his team to get a flag here. And again, we're up to 4-3. If you're just joining us, we have a little bit of a reset, so Fnatic does have one extra cap. They could tie it up here, but they've only got a minute and 45 seconds remaining.
Yeah, not a lot of time left remaining. And another thing to make note of as well is the fact that Manny's rolling 13 assists here.
Woo!
He has been contributing significantly to this team. Flag has been pulled, though. That's going to be the red flag. We'll see as they're going to be bringing this one across. Septify's trying to stay alive out of this one here. He knows he's going to have to play Ring Around the Rosie. He's got a little bit of help from his teammate. He's got the help from his friend. And this is going to be a little bit of a different type of situation as Fnatic are going to be the ones on the response now. Flag's going to be located down low. They're looking and trying to sniff out where this player is going to be. Septify has to be careful about it. And I think even for Native Red, they realize, maybe we don't want to have to worry too much about the flag that we pulled rather than the flag that might be exiting our base. And Septify is doing wonderful work staying alive, but it's not going to amount to much, though. Last player left alive for Fnatic is going to be Jazero here, and the return comes through, and another flag pull is going to happen.
Septify is able to delay, though, so Native Red are not able to capitalize on the numbers advantage that they had. A flag will come through. They do get that pull, but they've got to win some fights first. They do get a couple slays, but that's 3 dead for Fnatic and 3 dead for Native Red. They've got a 1v1 now.
Taulik just playing the corner. That's what I was talking about, the crosshair placement. Putting it right there, that the player is going to potentially slide out of there, so you can get 1 or 2 shots, forcing him in a bad spot, and that leads to a kill right there. Jazero's going to have to back away from the fight as well, but this is going to be a great defense here from Native Red, just not letting Fnatic get much in the way of progress in their base. Every single time a player is going to be present, at this point now, if you're suppressed, you can make the best out of the bad situation that's been dealt to you, but this push has kind of gotten stalled unless suppressed can make something happen, which he does, and the flagpole's going to come through. Look out for some of the players on the low side. Soul Snipe's going to try and run away from this, but it ain't going to matter. It was a last-ditch effort. 4-2. Native Red get the Game 1 win.
Incredible job by Native Red. That push does come through from Suppressed, and, unfortunately, they're not going to be able to extend that game, with that time running out. But regardless, I mean, Fnatic just played too slow. Native Red were always in their base. You talked about it. There's a pull that happened. Native Red were always, it was usually Druck, comes out, makes sure to get the counter cap and potentially a standoff.
Yeah, I think what was very prevalent in that game was that Fnatic just did not have enough control. And I did say 4-2, but it's actually 4-3. But regardless of the fact, it's still going to be a win for Native Red, no matter how you shake it. But yeah, Native Red, they were the ones that were just constantly in the driver's seat, never really allowing Fnatic to get comfortable. Even when they would go in for a cap or go in for a pull, the amount of resources that you had noted before, Tim, the amount of resources that they would have to expel in order to make that capture happen is the reason why Native Red were able to get this win 4-3.
Yeah, it just comes down to that. You got to be disciplined enough to play your life, and we saw that multiple times out of multiple players, but it all comes down to not desperating that flag, not losing lives when going for that cap. You got to stay back sometimes, play your life, play for the timing. And honestly, Native Red did a better job of that.
And we talked about the assist that Manny had. Well, that kind of makes sense. He had 5,600 damage. With all of those assists. My boy was out there contributing to Native Red's success. So they're going to go up 1-0 here. If you're just joining us, we had a little bit of a restart at the beginning of the game, but we managed to correct it, and now we're moving on to Slayer Streets. Native Red get that first win. Fnatic, they're trying to keep their tournament life in this competition, but most importantly, this game, they're fighting for a spot at Halo's World Championship that is just a few short weeks away. All right, here we go. So there was just a little bit of a situation happening over at the station. We were able to sort that out. Not technical, just another issue. And we are at 1-0 here in this matchup. Native Red currently have the lead in this series, one step closer to qualifying for the Halo World Championship.
Yeah, Fnatic have to answer back right now. And honestly, I want to focus on one player, and that's going to be Jazero. He's the mental leader of this roster, and after coming off a loss just like they just did, it's up to him to kind of rally his team together and make sure they're not getting checked off that first loss.
Yeah, and I was a little worried, right, about what the weapon control was going to be like, and that's exactly what happened for Native Red. They get the rockets. They have one left in the chamber. They also have Bulldog control. Fnatic are just going to be a little worried about the push here. They got to try and see if they can get the value where they can in this arcade push, but Manny should be able to get the first kill here against Arctic. That's going to be a relatively easy one, but a good response to try and force Manny back, but the kill comes through. 2 down, scratch that, 3 down for Fnatic here as Druck with that Bulldog puts it to use. They're going to extend this lead 11-4.
Yeah, I think the reason when they went 3 down there is because Manny didn't just fire a rocket across the map, right? He utilized that rocket to get the very first pick, and they were able to capitalize on the other 2 as well. Great job right there by Native Red.
Yeah, Native Red, of course, continuing to add on to this lead here. Fnatic just trying to find where the openings are, right? Where is it present? But as of right now, this has been all Native Red. Taulik, we highlighted him before. Definitely a player to watch. Was able to get himself 5 kills. Druck is contributing significantly here as well. And that's the thing about this Native Red team, Active, right? Like, you got guys like Druck and Soul Snipe that can really just trade out, you know, who's like slaying in any given game, given the map, the game mode, the situation. They have those weapons available to them.
And that's what it comes down to, right? When you have teammates that can play the role, that can fill the role that's needed, you have a versatile squad like Native Red do. If they can continue to be versatile like they are and pick it up where the holes, you know, like Swiss cheese. There's holes in Swiss cheese. They can fill those holes. Native Red can close out this series.
That's right. They're like a fine-aged cheddar.
Yes.
You know, or like a Gouda.
Love it.
I don't know. I really like Gouda. Now I kind of want cheese. Sorry. I'm a little hungry. I haven't eaten for a little while, so I apologize. But it seems like Native Red's eating well because they're up by 10 in this game. It was such a strong start here, and just look at the way that they're playing around for one another, right? Like, even when there's a potential push, they just respond so well. But credit to Arctic, though, for knowing that the disengagement was going to happen in mid, and then ends up getting 2 kills for that. That's pretty big, but look at Druck. He's looking to give the sauce. He's got 2 players weak, and they're going to be back onto the attack here as well. Poor Septify is going to be trapped like a baby in the corner, but you don't put baby in a corner, as the Bulldog will be able to get the better in that situation. Well played, but still this lead quite significant, still by 10, Active.
Yeah, there can't be any trades at this point, right? You've got to get those clean kills, and when Native Red have control of that Bulldog, it's going to be very difficult to do so. A 10-kill game like you had mentioned, but all of Fnatic trapped at sea.
Yeah, they do manage to get 2 kills out of it, so they will start to make this push happen. And this is going to be where we see how Native Red decide to respond. And I love this. What they do, they just wait it out, right? They know that they have the lead. They know that they have the advantage here. They know that Fnatic need to make the move.
Right.
So they're just going to allow them to. They're going to wait to see what their hand is, and then they'll hit them with a trap card potentially.
They've cut the lead down a little bit, though, here. 27-19, Fnatic starting to wake up. Arctic got his first 3 kills in the past about minute or so. After he got that double, he got 1 more. He started off real slow. If Arctic can pick it up, we see a potential difference in the game, but 3 down for Fnatic.
Yeah, very smart play there as well by Native Red, because what we had happen was, you know, Druck was doing a great job laying down the cover fire, and then you were starting to see Manny, Taulik push, or I think it was Soul Snipe rather, push that fight because those players were damaged. But Fnatic now have been able to obtain the rockets. Maybe this could be the catalyst for them to get back into this game here.
Yeah, I think these rockets could be, but he's got to hit them, right? And unfortunately, he misses the very first one. That rocket will provide 0 value. You've got to utilize these rockets. You can't be like Puckett, right? You got to make sure you hit those shots. And unfortunately, Suppress is not going to, but he does get 1 kill for it.
And the problem is exactly as we're seeing. You get a kill on one side, then you get a trade on the other. A kill for a kill. It cannot work like this if Fnatic want to get back into this game, because the lead is only going to continue to stay stagnant, and that is the worst possible situation for Fnatic to be in here. But 2 kills are going to come in hot for Fnatic, and that might start to tip the odds in their favor, but there goes Manny again. Great response, though, to actually take him out of that strong position here. Let's see now, as Druck is going to be on the approach. First shot's going to be there for Suppress, but my goodness, he was landing those commando shots.
Yeah, those commando shots are strong. There's so many players that have gotten really good with that weapon, but I got to talk about Arctic on Fnatic. He's got control of that Bulldog, and because of that, we're talking about a 6-kill game now.
Yeah, and Arctic has been struggling a little bit, so maybe with the Bulldog could be enough, but I feel like we just cursed the boy.
We did, didn't we?
Oh, I feel so bad for him. But look at this, 6 kills, scratch that, make it 7. Maybe they could start to make the comeback happen. Pin them inside of Tram. Get this next set of slays and then start to make this progress, right? But look at the flank as well. And I think that Fnatic are going to be wise to this. So you're kind of giving up space on the map here to Native Red. And if you're not smart about it, well, they could end up capitalizing on it here. But so far, it hasn't really come back to bite them in the butt too much. It's going to be a 6-kill, 7-kill game, but it keeps on getting closer and closer active to 50, which is going to spell doom for Fnatic.
Yeah, rockets were in the hands of Fnatic once again. That's 2 rockets in a row, but look, they're not able to utilize them. Once again, 44 kills on the side of Native Red. You got to take those rockets and make sure you get value out of them. I'm going to repeat myself until this Fnatic roster hears me. They've got to do something soon. 5 kills is all that remains.
Boiling down to the wire. 7-kill lead, make that 8 now. Courtesy of Soul Snipe with that Bulldog, and Suppress wants to get all up in his business, but he's got to watch out for that close-range weapon. Does get the Stalker out of this, though, and I think that they do have the read on where he is. Suppress is going to try and bail out of this. We have 2 players that are weak around the corner. That's Soul Snipe for a double. 1 more remaining. Talik's at distance. Oh, but Septify is able to get the kill against Soul Snipe here. He's trying to find where that weakened player could possibly be. 4 players are going to be tucked away in the back of PD. Jazero's going to be dangerously low as he tries to just get away from it here. Talik's going to back away, but it's all good because he has Druck to pick up the kill. A great game from him as well as he gets 12 for his effort, and that is going to be Native Red going up 2-0.
2-0 is a huge lead in this series. They only need 1 more to qualify for Worlds, and I want to say something that you talked about. I want to touch on something you talked about. The well-rounded roster of Native Red. One player plays bad, the other comes up, picks him up and says, we got this. You know, one player maybe not slaying as well. Still, he's able to provide the damage, and his teammates are able to capitalize on the kills. That's a team right there, and that's Native Red.
Yeah, but you even saw it in their game plan on Catalyst CTF, right? You know, you had Soul Snipe and you had Talik just popping off, doing what they needed to do. Right. 40+ kills between the 2 of them. They were dominating that game, right? And then it's okay because you got Manny and you also have Druck just handling the business. And in this game, Druck was playing that role. It's kind of similar to what we saw in the Cloud9 game earlier, where, you know, Bound wasn't necessarily the one on Recharge Oddball to be like the playmaker, right? But, you know, you had someone like Stellar that was picking up that flak. That right there, and it's not even flak, it's just that you're playing the role, it's working out for you. It's something that I do want to note, though, is it felt like Arctic that game really got off to a slow start. And I'm not, of course, going to put blame on Arctic because I don't think that it's a one-player, you know, blame game here. Right. But there were moments, right, where he had the Bulldog, couldn't quite really land the shots. It felt like he was really struggling to know where he wanted to go in those plays. And I kind of chalked that up to maybe some miscommunication from Fnatic.
It could have potentially been. I mean, you know, he had that Bulldog, I think, 2 or 3 times in that game. And like you had said, it's one of the strongest weapons, and it's underutilized in this game. I think having that Bulldog, and he had it in a great spot as well. He was in Tram, and then, like, that's close quarter combat at that point. You can take full control of that side of the map with that Bulldog. Unfortunately, him going down really just made it even more difficult for Fnatic to come back in the game. Yeah, you know, just the little details, right? Yeah. The devil is truly in the details, and in Halo, it may seem like a game that's insanely fast-paced, but there's all these small little things that you can kind of pull away that a lot of these top players do so well, and that really is going to be the difference between going to Worlds and having to go through the play-in competition, right? Right, absolutely. I mean, this is a big one for both of these teams, but Native Red are playing like more is on the line. They're playing, some people play better under pressure. Some people maybe it's a little bit more difficult for them to play comfortable under pressure, but Native Red, they're looking really strong right now. We knew they were this strong, right? We saw them in Kansas City, but they're starting to prove it here. Now we move to Live Fire King of the Hill. Yep, that's right. This could be it for Native Red. Fnatic have to find life in this series. It's not just staying alive in the tournament. It's about going to Seattle and playing for a world championship. Native Red knows what's on the line. They know what the job that needs to be done, and they're one step closer to doing it. We'll see if Fnatic can manage to respond here and now, because they need to, Active. A response is needed. Worlds is calling. They've left messages on your answer machine. Time to call them back. Fnatic, it's time to wake up. This is the moment right here. You've got to capitalize.
Big stick to start things off, and I like that. At the very least, the start there was pretty solid, but Druck does manage to have the heat wave in his possession. Damage has been done to this player. He's also going to have to deal with 2, but they're both going to be relatively weak. But Druck, I have to give him all the credit in the world there. He stayed alive as long as he could, and that's going to have to force those players to go back, so they can't quite commit to those pushes yet because they were weakened, and that overshield's up for grabs. Manny gets it, and now he can start to put some damage out.
You said it perfectly. He stayed alive. He was able to put the damage in, and his teammates spawned behind him. So that's an OS, and that's a little bit of an advantage as well. While 2 are down for Fnatic, this is big for Native Red.
Oh, man, he's got to be careful with this snipe, though. He's going for the cheeky no-scopes. It's not really working for him, though. The shot's going to go between the legs. He's got a weakened player down low. Another one's going to be there, too. He stays alive with the double kill. He's got a teammate on the point, and they're holding this one down. But it seems like we might have lost our observer. I'm not too sure. Or maybe it was like a program feed thing. But regardless of the fact, though, what we're getting out of the break here, and I'm hearing the gameplay, so I think we might
I hear
be
the
okay.
gameplay.
But regardless, what we're getting here has been exquisite from Native Red Active.
Yes, they played phenomenal, and again, it goes back to playing your life. Making sure that, you know, Druck stays alive in that very first position. That overshield is huge. It's the very first one of the game. It really sets the tone for the rest of the game. And at the same time, staying alive, and you said 2 players, you're right. 2 players in front of him, he's able to put damage into both of them while playing his life.
Yeah, that's right. There really is a lot to praise there. By the way, just an update. I think that there's an issue elsewhere, not the game. Thankfully, the game is still going, so we don't have to worry about that. Don't know if we're going to get visibility on it, but I think we did get word that we are going to be going back into it. So yes,
there we are.
All's well that ends well. But while all that was going on, Native Red did manage to pick up that B hill for their first point.
And now you talked about Druck stepping it up. You talked about Soul Sniping. You talked about Talik. But guess what? There was one person left, and that's Manny. And look at that. He's stepping it up in game number 3.
Yeah, it really just goes to show you, yes, there are some teams that have main slayers. There are some teams that, you know, have guys that put up massive numbers, your Lucids of the world, your Stellars, your Renegades. But, as, you know, in a team like Native Red, and this is part of the reason why the Pioneers were so successful early on in the season, was because all these players were hungry, determined, and talented as all heck. And that's the reason why you're seeing the results that you're seeing here right now, Active.
And I love these results. That perfect was huge. That heat wave is coming up, and you see he dropped down for it because if that heat wave goes down the floor or it runs out of ammo, that's 15 seconds and it comes back up again. So they've got multiple power weapons to work with. That sniper up top as well just spawned. We've got to make sure if Fnatic wants to come back in this game, they've got to contest for those.
Yeah, well, they're really, really close to being able to get their first point here. Starting to get this response now from Native Red. Great play by Jazero. I think he was up top on the tower, and he was able to yeet that grenade to help out his teammate. Now it's going to be, oh, actually, Jazero's coming from behind, so scratch that, though. Regardless of the fact, you're going to start to see some kills come in here with the heat wave, courtesy of Jazero. Soul Snipe goes down. Another one potentially, but just as I say that, man, every single time it looks like there's an opening active, Native Red just, they squash it.
Yeah, Native Red just have knowledge of the spawns. They get that back anchor on the back of C, so they spawn inside of mud, and that provides them that numbers advantage at the end, and they're able to crush any push. Their defense is phenomenal right now.
To press with the sniper, though, they're very close to capturing this. That tower hill, it's a pretty solid one, especially if you get the setup. Overshield is going to come up, and a smart call by Native Red. No real reason for them to just put more resources toward that. Just go ahead, handle business elsewhere, get that overshield, get these items, because you know you're going to need them here. But Suppress is going to actually make it happen. He picks up the overshield. This is going to be a rough spot for him to be in. This guy still isn't died.
Oh my word!
What the hell? How did he live out of that one?
That is not good right there. That should not have been a thing. I don't know. I have no idea. The melees were missed, and that OS was traded out. That's a huge blunder.
My boy had armor. He had health.
He had playbell armor.
He had a sniper. He had everything. Oh, my word. That is a heartbreaker to see, but he got to dust that off and try again. Well, let's see, though. It's still going to be 1-1, so you at least have that to feel okay about when you look at the bottom of the scoreboard there. But as of right now, Native Red, if you're Native Red after that play, you have the confidence, all the confidence in the world.
I've got to talk about Arctic once again, right? He's starting off this game really slow as well.
True.
3-10. You can't ignore the fact that he's having definitely a very rough series at the most important time in the tournament. And because of all of that, we're talking about Native Red potentially capping their second fight.
Potentially. I mean, this is basically going to happen here with the way that they're playing. At this point, Fnatic have to do something that they have not been quite successful in before, and that's try and get a proper setup to hold one of these points. But it doesn't matter, because while all that was going on, you had one player, that was going to be Taulik, a playmaker in that situation, hopping on the point, capturing it for his team, putting them up by 1.
It's crazy. We've seen Native Red, and we talked about their aggression, but their objective efficiency is what's really shining to me right now. They're capitalizing on those slays. They're able to get these hills, and now already they're approaching 50% of the next one.
And even with the way that worked out, Fnatic were fully pressed inside of Garage, and regardless, Native Red still managed to put bodies on the OS hill to get it up to 50, near 50%, mind you. I think it just goes without saying that Native Red has Fnatic's number here, and they're going to need to find some answers right now, Fnatic, because if they don't, their world's hope is going to be dashed in this King of the Hill game.
Native Red have gone through a lot. They lost their Oregon KCP, but Native have taken them and brought them in, and it's great. It's a perfect time right now because these guys, like you said, they're hungry. They want Worlds,
That's 3.
and if they close this right here, they will qualify for it.
It's going to come down to this middle King of the Hill. That is a rough one to break, and it's a rough one to hold, but it becomes a lot easier when you have tower control and a sniper rifle to just overlook that position here. Taulik, though's got the read. He knows that Septify is going to be in the back of the field here. Watch out for that heat wave. It is going to get the better. No one's going to be there for the cleanup, though, and Septify will be all right with the sniper. So kind of a different situation. Ooh. Nice shot there from Septify. He got the call that there's going to be someone lurking about here. That's what the heat wave's going to be there to clear that out, and so far, so good for Fnatic.
Yeah, Fnatic's starting to show us a little bit of life, and that's exactly what needs to happen. I mean, there's only one cap needed for Native Red. This is their perfect time to wake up, and it looks like they've done so. Suppressed 16 and 13. That blunder we saw with OS seems to have not affected him. He's still popping off.
Last shot from the sniper was just expelled. You only have 2 shots left in the heat wave, so you can't really rely on those weapons to bail you out of these situations. He's going to have to go ahead and push this one here. He has no other choice. He has no other weapons. He's only going to have to resort to some grenades. That's a sandbag. That's not going to help you, buddy. Maybe you can pick it up and throw it at someone, but I don't know. You're kind of left without a paddle here. I think at this point, you just go in and throw the weapons, and you just try and melee your way out of this situation.
That's what he's going to have to do, but look, again,
okay, that works.
15 seconds. That heat wave's going to come up. He can utilize that, and he's got a BR as well, so now he can be a part of the fight, and a perfect time to do so with the West coming up.
I'm very impressed that Septify has managed to turn a bad situation into a very, very profitable one, because Fnatic are also going to get their second point, so they're only going to be down by 1. Plenty more hill left to play as we go back to the B hill, the green hill that you see right here on your screen. Fnatic are already going to be set up in a great position here, and that heat wave does not work out. Unfortunately, Soul Snipe gets the kill, and he's still going to be alive, I believe, in the backfield.
Yeah, he's doing so much damage from back there, being that anchor, but I really want to switch gears to draw. Look at that. The Observer knows exactly what I want. 22 and 7 out of this man. He's popping off, and it's perfect timing. They only need 1 cap. A Fnatic showing a little life, like I said. They put 1 on the board. Druk has to stay alive top tower. The pressure he can put from up here is huge.
Oh, I was about to say, if he saw him coming up the steps and he was able to keep that distance going, he might have been able to get the ninja, but that's okay. Neither here nor there. Right now, so far, so good for Native Red, as they're going to be at around 35% gained on this hill. As for the other side, as for Fnatic, they need to find a solution, because here's the thing, despite the fact that we have Native Red with the lead, they have not been able to put a body and keep a body on that hill so far.
Yeah, the cross shot from Fnatic has been really good. I want one of these teams to control that sniper. They got 3 dead for Fnatic, so maybe that snipe control can go in the hands of Native Red, and they can use that to capitalize on this last hill.
Yeah, and Druk does exactly that. He gets sniper, he's going to be looking over. I believe that's also going to be Jazero in the backfield too, just trying to reposition here. They're going to have to make some plays. They're going to have to push, but Druk, alongside with Taulik in the backfield, are going to be a problem for Fnatic to have to deal with.
Fnatic are doing well, though. They have a triple push on the side of Nest here, and Taulik is going to go down because of it, and now that's 3 dead. Manny, this is a big kill out of him. He can't get it. Finally, we see a little bit of life.
Yeah, they do manage to stop that one. They'll get control of it. This is going to be a big fight. Suppress is going to need some help here any minute now. He's got a teammate. Septify is going to be behind him. Overshield's going to be available. Love this flank play, going low inside of tunnel to try and just get in the face of the native red players here. Manny's gonna have to back away. That should allow Septify that opening to be able to get the overshield. But the problem is that their teammates died on the other side of the map. They're gonna need an opening. They're gonna have to push this one right now. Progress is being made here for native red.
Yeah, unfortunately they had to split resources to get the OS, but they weren't able to finish the game. That is native red. So now Fnatic, if they can utilize this OS to get some kills on the board, this could be huge. He misses the Mind the Gap. Soulsnipe staying alive for such a long time, but a 2-2 trade, but Fnatic sticking that hill, and they have time here.
Yeah, they have no other choice. They're gonna have to, they need to get on this here. Fnatic do. They're making progress little by little. Watch out for Manny on the flank. Manny has been on fire in this game. Suppress is playing the corner. He was so weak. Thought he was going to be able to stay alive long enough, but that's going to be a killing spree for Septify. Double kill for him as well, but the site's going to be wide open now. Druck, rather than going and staying inside of there, he's going to let his teammate hold that one down. You only have a little bit of time left on the clock, but this is it. A last desperate attempt to make this, or your world's hope are dashed, and that is Native Red will be going to Seattle and competing for a world championship. Fnatic, good try, but the day belongs to Native Red.
It's so heartbreaking because Fnatic, they really started to wake up, but it was too little too late.
Yeah.
You can't wake up that late in the game. We thought maybe they could bring it back, but they just made too many mistakes early game that were capitalized on. But again, congratulations to Native Red. They qualify for the World Championship.
Yeah, I think everyone on that team contributed exponentially in this series. You know, they had the mission, they knew exactly what they needed to do, and mission accomplished. Native Red played some awesome Halo, whether it was seeing the way the Talik and Soulsnipe were just dominating, and also the support that they were getting, you know, from Druck and Manny in CTF, to how they just dominated in streets. Rocket control, they had Stalker control, and there was an opportunity for Fnatic to come back into the game, but they just could not find those kills. And again, on live fire, King of the Hill, it just really felt like just Native Red had their number.
Yeah, way too many mistakes. The one that really shines to me was the overshield in the hands of Suppressed. You know, being able to utilize that could have potentially been defense on that A hill, and maybe we see a different game here because it was very close, but it did hurt. It hurt my soul to see that sniper just go down and the OS as well be traded out.